Un, dos, tres, toca la pared. Un...
The movie begins in the Good Shepherd orphanage in Spain, where we see some children playing on the playground. The orphanage principal receives a call from a couple, revealing that one of the orphan children, Laura, is getting adopted by a family. After some years, Laura returns to the worn-out orphanage with her husband, Dr. Carlos, and her 7-year-old son, Simon. She aims to renovate the orphanage to turn it back into a center for kids with disabilities. At night, when Simon calls his mother to open the window, it is revealed that he has 2 invisible friends, Watson and Pepe, who have locked themselves outside while playing. When Simon inquires his mother if she used to get scared in the orphanage, Laura responds that the lighthouse stayed on all night, but now it doesn't work anymore. Laura thinks she should talk to Simon about his imaginary friends, but according to Carlos, Simon is lonely and bored, which is why he has made invisible friends. When the special children arrive, he will forget about his friends. The following day, Laura and Simon head to the beach to closely see the lighthouse. As Laura collects seashells from the sand, Simon goes into a mountain cave and makes another invisible friend. While Simon is inviting his new friend to his house, Laura approaches and advises him to leave the dangerous cave. When she looked inside where Simon was talking to the boy, she found no one but some footsteps imprinted on mud. To give directions for his friend to follow, Simon throws seashells on the road so he can come home and play. Arriving home, a lady named Benigna knocks at the door and introduces herself as a social worker. When Benigna claims she is here for Simon, Laura unwillingly lets her inside the house. As Benigna and Laura talk, it is revealed that Simon is adopted and is HIV positive. Benigna is here to suggest new treatments for Simon's condition, but Laura finds it offensive. According to Laura, Carlos is a doctor, and they are all aware of treatments for Simon's disease. As Simon is unaware of his adoption and condition, Laura wants Benigna out of the house so Simon cannot listen to anything. Laura locks Simon's file in the kitchen drawer to avoid much trouble. At night, Laura wakes up with a thudding sound, compelling her to go outside and examine. Hearing the sound from the shed, Laura heads in and finds Benigna standing in the corner with a shovel in her hand. Before Laura can call her husband and catch Benigna, she manages to escape, concerning Laura more about her family's safety. The following morning, Laura opens the door and finds seashells which, according to my observation, might have been collected by Simon's friend on his way to the house. Instead of getting suspicious about the shells, Laura shows no concerns. When Laura inquires about Simon's painting, she learns that Simon has 6 new friends who can't grow like him. Moreover, they are holding treasures in the picture, which is part of their game. While telling his mother about the game, Simon explains how his friends steal someone's treasure, after which they have to find it by following the clues. If the owners find their treasures, the 6 friends grant them a wish. It turns out that Simon has already started the game by giving unique coins that an older man left at the park. After showing Laura the first clue, baby teeth, Simon asks for help. Considering it a game set up by Simon, Laura decides to play along and finds sand in Simon's teeth box. The game cannot be played outside, so they must discover sand inside the house. After following different clues, Simon heads his way to the last clue, which is the kitchen's closet. Opening the drawer, Simon finds his coins along with his file. Strange, right? When Laura scolds him for setting up the game, Simon gets infuriated and claims that Laura is not his mother and he will be dead soon. According to him, his orphan friend Thomas has told him the truth. "What are you doing, Laura? Open your eyes and believe what your kid sees, or you might get into big trouble." Even after his counseling, Simon thinks that his parents are liars. On the day of the special kid's arrival, Simon insists his mother visit Thomas' little house before meeting the guests. After a fight, Laura leaves Simon in the room and heads her way down to welcome the children. As the party continues, Laura heads upstairs to take Simon out of his room. However, she is followed by a masked boy, Thomas, who pushes her inside the bathroom, causing her to fall into the bathtub. After locking Laura in the toilet room, Thomas disappears. After Carlos releases Laura, she looks for Simon everywhere in the house and on the beach, but she doesn't get a trace of him. Even the police searched Simon all around the town but failed to get his information. In the hospital, when Laura claims that she saw someone in the hallway, an investigator, Pilar, responds that it might be her imagination. Police have also investigated Benigna, the social worker, but they didn't find her record in the files. Returning home, Laura hears a thudding sound from Simon's room and finds a doll on his bed after examining the place. 6 months have passed and Simon is still missing. As he is ill and needs his medication daily, the police and Carlos think he is gone. However, Laura still believes that her son is alive and has been taken by one of her imaginary friends she saw on the day of the abduction. One day, on her way home, Laura witnesses Benigna crossing the road, but before she can approach her, Benigna gets smashed by a truck and dies on the spot. While everybody is surrounding the dead body, Laura grabs Benigna's doll, which looks just like Thomas. As Laura is taking her pendant, she wakes up for a moment and dies instantly. After investigation, Pilar informs Laura that Benigna worked at the orphanage when Laura used to live with her friends Martin, Rita, Victor, and Alicia. She had a son named Thomas, born with a facial deformity. One day, the villagers found his dead body and were shocked to see it because Benigna never allowed her son to go outside. One of the orphans later confessed that they had played a trick on him. They went into the cave with Thomas and took his mask off to see if he would come out. But he never emerged. He drowned. The children weren't blamed because they were only playing. Laura is evident that she has seen Thomas in her house, but according to Pilar, no one saw Thomas at the party. No matter what the police say, Laura can still feel the presence of someone in her house. After listening to an exorcist, Professor Leo, Laura turns to him and asks for help. He sends a medium named Aurora to Laura's house so she can examine if there is someone inside. After setting the cameras, Aurora grabs the old doll to facilitate her trance, which will help her get her to begin the regression. During the psychic summoning, Aurora can see 5 sick children who scream that someone is going to kill them. After the test, Aurora tells Laura that the interior of the children's room was old and the light from the lighthouse was coming through the windows. Unfortunately, because of the darkness, she couldn't recognize any kid. Resembling her scars with Laura's, Aurora informs her that people close to death are more receptive to the messages sent by supernatural forces. And if Simon could see his 6 friends, it meant he was about to die. Before leaving, Aurora advises Laura to believe in herself if she wants to see what others can't. As Carlos doesn't believe in Aurora and her ability to connect with the dead, he instructs Laura to pack her bags. The following day, Laura asks the spirits for a sign, after which the window behind her breaks, compelling Laura to uncover a bench. Seeing a missing doll inside the bench, Laura takes the one used in regression and joins it with the other. The last clue of the game takes Laura to the store, where she finds Benigna's keys on the ground, which leads Laura to a hidden cupboard. After exploring the small tunnel, Laura finds 5 sacks with human bones. As the sacks had braces and other aided tools, it is revealed that the 5 orphans were killed by Benigna, who took revenge for her son Thomas. Laura thinks that the game set by the orphans killed Thomas, and now they are playing with her and Simon, and she needs to play along to rescue her son. Unable to handle the situation, Carlos leaves the orphanage, giving Laura only 2 days to gather the memories from her dearest place. As Carlos leaves, Laura rearranges the room where the orphans used to sleep so she can contact them. After dressing up as a principal, Laura takes a sedative tablet and sets the table to invite the ghosts. When no one shows up, Laura plays the game she used to play with her friends, compelling the spirits to emerge. One of the children led her to a small storeroom where she found a way to a basement. While looking around the place, Laura finds Simon alive. She covers him with a blanket and holds Simon in her arms until the children's voices vanish. Meanwhile, the blanket in her hands gets lightened and falls to the ground. Once again, Laura has lost her son. When she turns around, she finds a body on the floor with Thomas' mask on his face. Suddenly, Laura realizes how she shut the door while looking for Simon, which unfortunately locked him inside. It turns out that Simon was the one who wore Thomas' mask after getting inspired by his ghost friend. When Laura heard the thudding voice on the night of the incident, it was actually Simon who fell from the stairs and died. Simon was in the house, but no one ever investigated. Now, Laura can do nothing but cry about her negligence in hitting Simon and unintentionally closing him in a closet. Longing to be with Simon again, Laura brings Simon's body upstairs and takes all her medications. Suddenly, light from the lighthouse enters the room, and the children start to play again. As Laura looks outside, Simon regains his consciousness and becomes alive again. As he has already found his treasure, he wishes that Laura could stay with them forever and take care of them. Meanwhile, a blind orphan approaches Laura and uses her hands to realize that the young lady is their best friend, Laura, with whom they used to play. Every other kid, including Thomas, gathers near Laura while we see Laura happy again. Later, when Carlos visits Laura's grave, it is revealed that Laura died after taking the pills, which united her with her dead son and old friends. When Carlos enters their previous bedroom, he discovers Laura's medallion lying on the floor. The movie ends with Carlos finding Laura's pendant on the floor, after which he smiles at the door that opened by itself. Overall, The Orphanage is an excellent movie with horror yet mystical storyline, making it even more interesting to watch. Although Laura had ghosts in her house, the accident separated Simon from her. With her bravery and determination to find her only son, Laura managed to unravel the mystery and did her best to find Simon alive. But fate had other plans, according to which Laura had to die to see her son again. Thanks for watching another Essential Recap. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment what you'd like to see next.